Hi, Denali. Are you done being mad at me for not having breakfast? We're about at that point where we're going to start putting you guys on the scale. So it is August, the end of the summer season. Hopefully here in Jersey, we have months of what I'll call good weather, right? We've been very lucky the last few years where all the way through, even sometimes into December, we're not freezing cold. We're sort of normalized temperature. It's, the precipitation stops. I mean, sometimes we do get snow in October and November, but it's rare. We much more often, hi, sweet girl. You want a chin scratch? Yeah. We much more often get what I'll call chilly weather, right? You need a jacket, but it's not miserable. And if that's the case, then, again, we're in really good shape. But come September, October, all of the plant life, all of the foliage starts to die off, right? The fall leaves change and all of that. It changes the dynamic of what's in the pasture for the girls to eat. Oh, look how nice. My two old ladies love each other. So it changes the dynamic of what's in the pasture for them to eat. That they'll eat many more dried and fallen leaves. They love them. And essentially the rule around here is if it falls in their pasture, it's free game. I don't go collect leaves. I don't throw leaves in their pasture. But if it falls in their pasture, they get it. And they love all of the different leaves that fall in their pasture, and they will race out to eat them. But it's not quite as nutritious and fattening and all of the things. Everybody's loving on Fanta today. I wonder if she doesn't feel good and they're just helping her along, supporting her. That's what I'm going to believe. She's been doing really good. She's still thin, of course, but she's been doing really well. She's been holding her own in the herd. She hasn't distanced herself from the herd. She is still hanging in there. But that is part of what I wanted to talk about today is we're starting to get to the point where the nutritional profile is going to change over. Now, we're not going to start supplementing hay anytime soon because they don't need that. But it is time for me to put the goats on the scale and compare them to their weights that they had in early spring. For Fanta and Emma, who are running on the skinny side because they're much older, and they are, realistically at the tail end of their lifespan. They are senior goats, extremely senior goats at this point. If they haven't been able to put weight on through the summer, we know they have no parasite load. I had it tested not just by myself, but my vet took samples to confirm. So we know that they're not fighting parasites in any way, shape, or form. There's no worm load in there. But if they haven't put on weight during the summer, or they haven't at least maintained their weight throughout the summer, then that's an indication that the winter would be really too harsh for them, right? The summer, when they don't have to expend energy to maintain temperature, when they have all of this lush, fattening food, where we're truly, we've increased the food intake that they get in terms of hay stretcher and grain. If their bodies still aren't processing enough nutrition to keep weight on them at this time of the year, then putting them through another winter is not going to go well, right? The nutritional profile changes. They switch to hay. They switch to having to use their caloric intake to maintain body temperature. I do have coats for them, and I will most certainly put coats on them without hesitation. But they have to have shown me that they can maintain or hopefully gain some weight throughout the summer, or I am going to have to consider, not putting them through another winter. So end of August is sort of my timeline for putting them up on a scale and seeing where they are in comparison to where they were in May. And again, For my healthy, robust young goats, they're going to be heavier than they were in May, or at least the same. Some of them will, because they had just kidded and were still a little bit in milk, may actually be a few pounds lighter, but their body condition should be good, right? Like if you look at Sock Monkey's body condition is relatively perfect. She's not fat, but she's robust. She has no, her spine isn't sticking out. She's got good musculature, all of that. JC is still looking good in terms of body condition. You can compare her to her mom. She's also actually an older goat. She's not old, but she's an older goat. And she's still in really good body condition for her age. Lotus, of course, is in fabulous body condition because she decided not to have babies last year, or earlier this year, I should say. She didn't get pregnant last year. So she's rocking it pretty well. Fanta, you showing us your gap tooth? You have the funniest face. Show you again. Show everybody your gap tooth. It's very much the model type gap tooth, isn't it? You gonna smile for us? No, you're just gonna stick your lip in it. She's a big gap in the front of her teeth. And yeah, they're aging. Their teeth are falling out. That's not unexpected either. So everybody's body condition looks really good. But it's a good time to sort of get a pulse check. And if you do that twice a year for the adult robust herd, right? Babies get weighed at a very different pace, as you know. You get a good feel for how they're progressing, how, whether or not there's something underlying that you should be looking at, things that may not show up in what I would call clinical signs, right? Nobody has runny noses, nobody has coughs, nobody's sneezing, nobody has diarrhea anymore, thank goodness. Everybody looks great and is acting normal, but if I put them on the scale and after a robust summer, they haven't put on weight or they haven't maintained weight, that is something to look at. So all of our animals will get weighed end of August, early September, so that we can make some valid decisions. And they won't be fast decisions by any means. It will be balanced by, what is the weather? What is the temperature? How long? How should we continue? Do we try and change supplementation? There are, of course, just like for humans, there are other supplements that could help with goats putting on weight. But again, in the case of Fanta, where we do suspect that there's cancer there, just based on some swollen lymph nodes and other things that the vet saw. Is that really the right thing to do for her? Was it the right thing to do for her to let her be with her herd and have the summer? Absolutely. And let me tell you, she has had mostly good days, really good days. I don't look at her and see a sick goat at all. But if I put her on the scale and she's dropped weight throughout the summer, whether or not I put her through another winter is questionable. Emma, who we don't believe has any underlying conditions, but is just simply as old as Fanta, is another one on our watch list to make sure that she's staying robust. She looks much more robust than Fanta by every stretch of the imagination, but that doesn't mean that she's not also, dropping weight. You can't when you look at your goats every day, no matter what. I lay hands on my goats regularly, right? Every day I'm touching, petting, plus I groom them, so I'm often feeling their entire body condition. You still become a little bit blind to changes because changes don't happen instantaneously. They happen gradually. So you don't notice that from 1 month to the next, your goat has lost a couple of pounds. You really need a scale to tell you that. So that's what we'll do. They've got their annual vaccines, so everybody is set that way. And yes, we absolutely did vaccinate Fanta and Emma. They are part of the herd. They are at risk just like anybody else, and we're not going to change that patterning based on age. Ladybug, she's so funny. She will stay in the stall all morning long, and she acts as if we haven't fed her, right? She is hilarious. She is scrounging for any crumb. I mean, some of them are too, right? But she's just funny. She has a very, very strong routine of, you know, oh, somebody dropped a kernel here or a crumb. I must find it. And she will dig through the entire stall 1 inch at a time. Oh, stop, monkey, you being mean. And, you know, it's okay. She's developing fabulously. I love how she's looking. And she's just got a really funny personality, and I love her for it. So that's the scoop on the transition from summer to fall and what we're planning to do. And I think that is plenty to chat about. So here's a little ladybug butt. And until next time, I've got work to do. Bye for now.